Hi, welcome to Namis Academy. This time we will be dealing with triangle. But in what function we will be dealing with triangle? Trigonometry. Yes, our topic for this time is trigonometry. I know trigonometry is a topic that gives students a lot of troubles in school, but we are going to bring it to our simplest level to have a simple understanding of everything about trigonometry in this video and subsequent video. How do we begin? Let's begin by learning Pythagoras theorem. Pythagoras theorem. So the first thing we're going to do in learning trigonometry is we want to have an underlying knowledge of Pythagoras theorem. Pythagoras theorem. So what is Pythagoras theorem? Pythagoras theorem states that the hypotenuse squared of a right angled triangle is equal to the opposite plus the adjacent squared of the same triangle. Let me take that in another words. In a right angled triangle, the length of the hypotenuse squared plus let me take that again. The length of the hypotenuse squared is equal to the sum of the length of the opposite squared and the adjacent square. In a right angle triangle, what are we talking about? Now let's have a right angle triangle on our now look at it now. This is a right angled triangle. A right angled triangle. So why did I call it a right angled triangle? A right angled triangle is an angle is a triangle that has 90 degree as an angle. And of course, this is 90 degree. So any triangle that has 90 degree as one of the angles in the triangle, it is a right angled triangle. And do not forget, the sum of the angles in a triangle is equal to 180 degree. Please let this be at the back of your mind because they are going to be helping us to solve any question that will come after this Pythagoras theorem. So what are we talking about? See, the longest side of this triangle is what we call the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse. The hypotenuse. Why this is the adjacent? The adjacent. So supposing this is so we can tell that this is an opposite. Is opposite an angle. Mind you, you might see some textbook that will say this is an adjacent, this is an adjacent. That's still correct because this side is adjacent to this angle and this side is also adjacent to this angle. But in a given right angle triangle and a particular part of other angle apart from this 90 degree is indicated to be an angle of a line. The line that is opposite the angle would be the opposite. Why the one parallel to it will just be the adjacent. So these are the three sides of the triangle, right angle triangle we are talking about. So this is what Pythagoras is saying. Pythagoras is saying that the length of this side squared is equal to the sum of this side, of this side, of this side, of this side squared. Let us prove that. But firstly, let us put it down in our note. Pythagoras theorem. So Pythagoras theorem states that the length of the hypotenuse squared is equal to the sum of the lengths of the adjacent squared and the opposite squared. So this is what Pythagoras theorem is saying, and by formula we can just simply write, let's shorten hypotenuse to be HYP. So hypotenuse squared is equal to adjacent squared plus opposite squared. So this is what Pythagoras is talking about right-angled triangle. Let's take some examples of what Pythagoras theorem is talking about right-angled triangle. Example number 1. Solve the third side of the following triangle. So let's see the triangles. So we have this to be 6 centimeter, here to be 4 centimeter. Roman figure 2. So Roman figure 2, we have this side to be 17 centimeter and this side to be 8 centimeter. So let's take them one after the other. For the first one, we're going to solve it this down here, and the second one, we're going to solve it this down here. So since we can see that they are right angle triangle, so we can take a Pythagoras. So sorry, this was 8 centimeter. So let's get it solved. Hypotenuse squared, recall that hypotenuse squared is equals to adjacent squared plus opposite squared. So what's the hypotenuse? Let's name it x is equals to the adjacent is just 8 centimeter squared plus the opposite is just 6 centimeter squared. So with that I can say that x squared is equals to 8 centimeter squared. 8 times 8 is just 64 centimeter squared plus 6 times 6 is just 36 centimeter squared. So x squared now is 64 plus 36, and that is 100 centimeter squared. So I find the square root of both sides, find the square root of both sides. So this cancel this, of course, is the opposite. So we say x is equals to, what is the square root of 100? Yes, that is 10. And what is the square root of centimeter squared? That is centimeter. So that tells that this third part we are looking for is just 10 centimeter. So that is what Pythagoras theorem will help us to do, looking for a side of a triangle when two sides are given, of a right angle triangle when two sides are given. So let's take the exact second example. In this time, we have the hypotenuse given already and the adjacent given, but the opposite is not given. So we are still going to use the same formula to solve it and still get the correct thing. So remember, this must be stated first, that hypotenuse squared is equals to adjacent squared plus opposite squared. So now the hypotenuse has been given to be 17 centimeter. So let's square it. Equal to adjacent is 8 centimeter. Good. Squared plus opposite, let's name it x now. X centimeter squared, right? Now, let's get into the business. To make x the subject of the formula, then this 8 squared would have to be moved to the left hand side of this equation, right? So when it moves, positive signs becomes negative. So this becomes 17 centimeters squared minus 8 centimeters squared equal to x centimeter squared. So that is what we are left with. So 17 multiplied by 17. So you can go somewhere. Let's take 17 multiplied by 17. Yes, 289. Correct. So that is 289 centimeters squared minus 8 times 8 is just 64 centimeters squared equal to x centimeter or squared. So if I subtract 64 from 289, what do I have? So I'll have 225, right? Yes, 225 centimeters squared, right? Because 9 minus 4, I'll have 5. 8 minus 6, I will have 2, and I will have 2 left. So 225 centimeters squared is equal to x centimeter squared. So because I'm just looking for x and not x squared, because of the third side is just x. So what I will do is to square root both sides. Square root both sides. I'll find the square root of both sides. So the square root of 25 centimeters squared. So that's asking us that what number exactly would I multiply by itself in two places and to give me 225. Yes, if you think you get it to be 15, if you try 10 times 10 is 100, 11, 121, 12, 144, 13, 169, and 14, 196. So the next should be 15, and you should get it to be 225 centimeter. So that will be 15 centimeter squared. Now is centimeter equal to x centimeter, because the square has been found. The square of centimeter has been found, so we are left with x centimeter. So we found the square root of this, we found the square root of, so this has cancelled this. So x centimeter is equal to 15 centimeters. That means the third side of this triangle we are looking for is 15 centimeters. So I believe you understood everything we did in this video. So this is the stepping stone to learning more about trigonometry. Please join us in the next video. Bye bye.